Today's election will have national implications.
Absolutely. Voters will be going to the polls all across America today, electing every member of the House of Representatives and more than a third of the U.S. Senate. But the real battle lies here in control of the Senate. Some key races could change the way Washington works as Democrats and Republicans both vie for control of the Senate, and Georgia could very likely play a key role in that fight, both vying for a seat in the U.S. Senate. Republican David Perdue and Democrat Michelle Nunn both locked into what is expected to be one of the closest contests. Well, today, which one will go into a runoff and where do things stand? How will all this play out in January? There's plenty on the line as the Democrats are hoping to salvage the last 2 years of the Obama administration.
But Republicans are using the public's fatigue of the Obama administration to their advantage. Savannah Morning News editorial page editor Tom Barton joins us now as our political analyst tonight to help break down some of the key races.
All right, let's begin, Tom. We've all been talking with how Georgia could play a key role in the national landscape with the Senate race. So let's begin with Michelle Nunn and David Perdue. I was going to throw out some poll numbers, but that's like hitting a moving target. They just change the minute you blink.
Yeah,
that's how close.
Exactly, Jennifer. You have to be careful of the polls too, because polls can be wrong.
Yes.
I think what we need to look for today is the turnout. Don't forget, we had 1 million Georgians go to the polls to vote early this year. A lot of them
Very telling.
Exactly, and you had a lot of them went to the polls in Chatham County early. If you remember the Souls to the Polls effort by the Savannah chapter of the NAACP a couple of Sundays ago, and I think that will help Michelle Nunn and the Democratic candidates, because traditionally Democrats tend to stay home during midterm elections, which favors Republican candidates. That bet might be off the table this year, but we'll all know, later on this evening. And I think the Libertarian candidates will take a few points away from both.
Forcing a runoff?
Forcing the runoff. But again, don't go by what the polls say, because they've been wrong.
It can be misleading, absolutely.
Let's talk a bit about voting trends and voter turnout. You said voter turnout could really impact and benefit the Democrats, but how do you expect that to differ from the rest of the state here in Chatham County? You expect it to be the same, or?
Well, Chatham County, as you know, we're now a minority-majority county, which means traditionally minorities and also women and younger people tend to vote Democratic. And with the demographic trends here, Kevin, I think you're going to see a more trend towards Democratic votes down in Chatham. Again, this is a midterm election, and I expect, like, for example, the Buddy Carter race in the 1st District. I'm not going to go out on a big limb. Buddy's going to win that. That's a Republican district. The race to watch, though, is in the 12th with John Barrow and Rick Allen. Yeah. The Republicans have been trying to get John Barrow out of there for as long as I can remember, but they've not been successful.
Well, it kind of goes back to the redistricting.
Yeah.
They really thought they would be able to
tried to redraw
it.
that district. It's like playing whack-a-mole. You're trying to, with John Barrow as the whack-a-mole.
Exactly.
But he hasn't been whacked.
None of the polls have either candidate drawing the 50% plus one. What do you think the candidates have to do down the stretch, especially as we enter the last 90 minutes or so?
Well, again, it comes down to turnout, Kevin. When runoffs, again, the Democratic candidates tend to be the losers because their supporters don't show up as often as the Republicans do. And you can say this about the Republicans. They tend to be passionate voters more so than Democrats. They show up in the primaries and in the runoffs, and for a number of reasons, the Democratic base doesn't. So this is what you need to watch in any sort of a runoff.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I'll say this. Remember South Georgia in the Republican runoff between David Perdue and Jack Kingston. This was Jack Kingston country. So David Perdue's challenge is to win over a lot of these Kingston supporters, and I think he's done a pretty good job doing that. Jack has come out strongly for Mr. Perdue, which he needs to have, but will that be enough to carry David Perdue to victory tonight or in the runoff? We don't know.
Well, let's talk about the governor's race. That's another closely watched race where no one is expected to get the 50% plus one. What do you see there?
My tea leaves, I think still Nathan Deal should have the edge in that. I think while Jason Carter has run a spirited campaign, I don't think he has the name appeal, even though he's Jimmy Carter's grandson. He's only been a state senator for 4 years and really does not have a long record of much accomplishment. And Nathan Deal, the governor's had some problems with ethics. But on the other hand, he's done well with the ports. I think you have to give him credit for keeping the Hope Scholarship solvent.
Both sides touted education. Very interesting.
And it's like this, Kevin. You can spin this any different way. You can argue that the governor has cut education funding, and the governor will say, no, I signed the biggest education funding increase in the state's history.
And they're both taking credit
which
for the Hope Scholarship.
There's truth on both sides of that. and so the candidates, they're smart. They know how to spin this to their advantage. But I think over time, an incumbent governor in Georgia, they just don't lose. And I'm not saying Nathan Deal is going to automatically win. This is a tough fight for him.
One that may result in a runoff.
And you have a lot of, again, the Democratic voters, I think, will turn out in larger numbers in this midterm election than in the past, which will help Jason Carter. But again, we just won't know till all the votes are counted.
All right.
Thanks so much,
It'll be
Tom.
interesting to watch it play out, especially for you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like Christmas for you. All right. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.